Hello students, we had already started with the literary terms that were there in the book of literary terms. Now we're beginning with the next term, that is academic novels. Let's understand the setting and characters. It is primarily set in a college or a university communities. That is why we call it as an academic novel. It features academics often employed or often portrayed from English department. So something that you need to remember here, the characters are taken from the college. Remember, these are faculties and they're teachers, and they're usually taken from the English department. The atmosphere is cloistered, sequestered, okay? It is very closed environment, and instead of tension, we have a lot of comic elements that are coming up, okay? And we have a humor and satire that is employed in these novels. But we need to understand there is not only humor and satire, there are also important themes that are explored, such as power, sex, exile, and banishment. Okay, remember, these are the important themes that are employed in the academic novels. Now, how did this type of genre came into existence? Traces of satirical academics in Aristophanes' The Clouds. Remember, this is a play by Aristophanes, where we see that Socrates, he is flying in a basket across the clouds. Okay, so this is a very comical element, and similar comical element can be seen in the academic novels. Now, earlier novels like George Eliot's Middlemarch and Thomas Hardy's Jude the Obscure explored the academic settings. Something that you need to remember is both of these writers are from Victorian age, okay, and these novels are very, very important. So if you are preparing for any of the competitive exams, try to read more about these novels. Okay, now let's come to the next slide. Here we need to understand that as the although the environment is very cloistered, it is very, small place environment, which is, very indifferent to the outside world, but it still absorbs the changing social scenes, the changing social patterns which are there outside the college or the university. Even today, if you see, a lot of universities are very closed environment. Okay, inside we have faculty houses, inside we have everything, stores, cafes, restaurants, malls also. So we need to understand a university becomes a very cosmic environment in itself. Okay, mirrors societal currents and cultural changes over time. Yes, so the students who are coming, the human beings which are coming from outside, okay, they naturally bring the change in the environment, the change in the social pattern, the change in the fashion, the change in the perspective, everything that's changing outside would be reflected inside the academic novel. The depiction of academic settings. The earlier novels, when this genre came into existence, the earlier novels, they were portraying very countryside kind of environment, pseudo pastoral enclaves with a very unique rules and conventions. Now, this would remind you of Matthew Arnold's poetry. Okay, if you remember the name of the poem, okay, this reminds of pseudo pastoral enclaves with a very university kind of environment. Now, recent novel, the novel that were written recently, like you might call it 20th century or 21st century, these have a very different type of settings. They are not written in a very countryside or very pastoral, very clean kind of environments. They, absorb the city element into them. They highlight social ideas and values which are being portrayed in the outside world as well. Now, shift in tone. 21st century academic novels adopt a darker tone. Now, this you need to understand, why would they adopt a darker tone? They try to portray the reality of the university, what is happening inside the university. So it's not all clean environment, it's not all pious environment. Okay, although it's an academic novel, but people have politics. Okay, so it also talks about the deterioration of the working conditions of the teaching faculty, the lower salaries, not very good working environment, very toxic working environment, increasing corporatization of the universities, prioritizing economic goals over educational missions. So you need to understand how education became a business. Okay, and education is not an only education setting anymore. So you need to understand this kind of theme was also involved in the novel. So what you need to remember is that although the atmosphere is very cloistered, very separated from the outside world, but it absorbs the change, okay? And by absorbing the change, it is reflecting what are the politics, what are the conditions of people inside the novel. Now, similar is the type of varsity novel. Remember, VARSITY. This you note down, okay? Similar is the type of varsity novel which is usually set in Oxford or Cambridge universities, okay? Oxford or Cambridge universities, and the students, okay? Sorry, the characters are not faculties, but they are undergraduate students. Remember two things. The setting is Oxford or Cambridge, and the characters are university students. So thank you, students. We are going to meet again in the next literary term. It was wonderful meeting you. If you have any questions, please type it in the comment box. Thank you.